Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. I didn't know what the heck it was there. Donna and Cheryl slash Donna in the house on your Friday. Hopefully bringing in some sunshine and some Friday vibes. So when you're with me, when you join me, please say hi. I want to know that you're here. I've got my coffee, and I've got my happy self, and I'm excited to spend the next 15-20 minutes with you. And I want to riff on some really important lessons that came out of the masterclass that we ran last night for self-doubt to all out, which was pretty brilliant. We loved it. Cheryl's having some family time today, so you've just got me. So if you're here keeping me company, thank you. Drop me a little note to say who's here in the comments, because we're streaming into a few different platforms right now. So just say hi. Hey, Harriet. Oh, just collecting the sun. I will keep it clean then today, she says. How long? Right. Give me a yes if you think I can keep it clean. Give me a no if you think it's probably physically impossible. Hey, Kat. Hi, Sarah. So who have we got? So Harriet's picking Littlin up from preschool. Catching up with the masterclass, Sarah. It was such a good masterclass. It had really good energy. The women brought it yet again, and I love that you guys are watching them on catch up too. It's so much fun. Also on the Espresso Friday vibes. I know. Well, I've got like the espresso type thing, the coffee. Hazelnut coffee with coconut milk, which is my drink, but I haven't got the. I haven't got the espresso in it yet. My health coach would kick my ass if I was doing that at lunchtime. Oh, there you go. There you go. One slipped out already. Hi, Lucy. Hi. No, don't keep it clean. Never. Hi, Dawn, all the way from Seoul. What time is it there? Is it your night time now, is it? Honestly, would you guys believe, though, like my son is 8. I don't think, or maybe he's once slipped out, but I haven't sworn in front of him. And for somebody that can swear like a Liverpool sailor on leave, I can't half crack them out. So, but never, I've not made a mistake in front of him. Not a Malteser's chance in hell. You can keep it clean. I can't, honestly, I'm really shy. There you go. Honestly, absolutely useless. 8:30 p.m. Oh, well, it's a good time for you then. It's a good time. So let me just recap. This week, all week, unless you've been hiding under a rock, Cheryl and I have been running for the first time ever a full challenge all about imposter syndrome. And we talked about it as being about self-doubt. So it was called Self-Doubt to All Out, because we know that not everybody understands what imposter syndrome is, what it does, how it affects us. And I think the girls here, you all felt that, right, girls? Like you came into it not really understanding, because some of you were in our group, not really understanding like what imposter syndrome is. It's this cluster of symptoms in this psychological pattern that we have where we just don't feel like we're good enough and we feel like we're fakes. And it still amazes me, because I've been banging on about this stuff for years and years now. And I remember the first time I shared on LinkedIn, we've been doing the business quite a few months. It was probably 5-6 months before I actually went on LinkedIn and said that I remembered, going into P&L meetings, going into meetings predominantly when there was going to be a lot of men, because I was one of the few, there wasn't as many female leaders in the organization that I was first promoted into a big leadership role. And I would just feel sick to my stomach. I'd be so conscious of every word that came out. They'd come out with all these stupid bloody acronyms, they go. And I didn't know what they were. And I felt like a tit if I asked. And then I was like, scared of not asking, because then they kept talking about the same acronym in the rest of the meeting, and I would just sit there the whole time like in my own head, and I would leave and I would have a headache and just think, I can't do this, I shouldn't be in this job. But I didn't know what imposter syndrome was. And then, so when I first posted about it on LinkedIn, the first thing was that people were going, oh my God, this is me. Oh my God, this is me. And it got something like 8,500 views in like 24 hours. And it was just this outpouring of women going, I didn't know this was a thing. And these were women who were in good jobs and were seen. And at that point, Cheryl and I were like, there's something in here that we just need to keep educating women on. And our program, The Real You, isn't just, our coaching isn't just about imposter syndrome. It isn't. But it's kind of like the common thread that we all share of wanting to be more in our life, of wanting to really step up to the plate, to be better leaders, to have more impact, to earn more money, to have a better life for our family. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But oftentimes for many of us, imposter syndrome is like the common thread that's always showed up. So this week we've been really trying to educate, trying to coach, and doing our best to teach on what this is, how it shows up in different ways, on the real commonalities of it, and then give it really specific, tactical, practical, tangible things that as women and men, but this group was only women, we can do in our day-to-day lives to take that back and to reduce the impact it's having, and to turn the noise down of the critic in our head, so that actually we can turn up the volume of our true self, of the inner confidence that we actually all have, because you wouldn't want to be more confident if it wasn't possible for you to be more confident. The fact that you want it means that you're able to have it, because we don't ever have desires as humans that we're not able to fulfill in a positive way. Does that make sense? So I would love to know for you girls that have been in the group, like, what are the things, like the big things you learned, like your aha moments about imposter syndrome and how it's shown up for you? Because when people are reading this, that will really resonate with them. My son is 19, he swears. Well, I always say, I don't think I swore till I went to live in Liverpool when I was 18, and then it became like an art form. Lucy, I am now looking at all the senior women at work and wondering what negative thoughts are going on through their minds too. Yes. And I bet before, Lucy, you are looking at them going, oh my God, they've got all their shit together. Another one, they've got all their shit together. They really know what they're doing. They absolutely have got it nailed. And it's just not true, is it? Like, it's just not true. And what was fascinating was, I don't know if you guys saw the conversation that I had with Letty, which was last week, I think the week before. And Letty is an amazing woman who we both worked at a large telecoms company together. And I was there, and then Letty came in, and we worked together in the same function as senior leaders. And then that was like a few years ago now. And then Letty reached out last year and joined one of our imposter syndrome masterclasses, just a 1 hour one, because up till now we've only ever done an hour on it. And she shared in the live last week, like, she had imposter that the whole time she'd be sitting in meetings going, oh my God, like, what am I doing here? I'm never going to get the hang of this. They must all think I'm stupid, and I'm never quick off the bat with my answers. They can see right through that I don't know what I'm doing. I used to be sitting in that meeting going, oh my God, I wish I could be like Letty. She's so poised. She so knows her stuff. Every time she opens her mouth, it's like gold dust. Like, I think, why the hell didn't I think of that point of view? And I just think that is like a perfect example of how two women who are sitting, and we were actually the only women on that team, it was all men, how two women can be sitting on a team, and we were good friends, we got on really well, never spoke about it, never shared the fact that we felt like that. And again, treat this inner critic like genital warts, and don't tell anybody because we feel really ashamed about it, because we don't know it's a thing. And like, now we laugh about it, and we're like, we went through a really, really crazy work experience together. Like, it was like a real tough work experience that we went through at the time, with a particular project that we're working on. And to think that we didn't have the conversation, but I know that every relationship that I look at when I've worked with strong women, I can probably say the same thing, right? So, yeah, yes, Lucy, just sitting looking at them going, what the hell, right? What are they thinking? I have nothing to lose, but everything to achieve. Yes, 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 Charlie Beaumont. I'm excited to have a conversation with you. Kat, I learned from your words that your words form thoughts, and your thoughts create your reality. 100%. Write that down, guys. If you're watching this, it's the first time you've heard it. It's so true. Thank you for that, Kat. I would never talk to a friend like I talk to myself. You wouldn't. So first change is to stop self-criticism and start affirming how hard I work and how much I care about what I do. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Dawn, my aha moment was around being the professional and having the expertise as the leader, and I have a team to do the work. Yes, I'm empowered to work on myself and my leadership skills versus doing the work. And we say that whether you're in corporate or whether you own your own business, like, you can be working in the business or you can work on the business. And as a leader, your job is to be working on the business. When you're in it and you're in the weeds, you are missing the gems. And all you're feeding is this thing of like, I have to work hard. I have to show my worth. I have to show them that I can do the job as well as they do. And you've just got to accept that as a leader, that's not your role. Your role is to ensure it is done. And your role is to keep improving yourself and your team. And you can't improve your team unless you're improving yourself. So it's that cycle of always making sure that as a leader, you're spending time and space and energy in self-development so that you can keep moving your team, who therefore then move the business forward. Such a good learning moment. Thank you. It's so sad that we've all suffered because of this. It is, but it's like a lot of these things that in our, like mental health, so many different things, if you think in our society growing up that weren't spoken of. Like when I was young, you just didn't speak about domestic violence. Like, you just didn't. You got on with it and you stayed with people. Whereas now, I think, yes, there is still a huge stigma, but there are places that you can go and speak and be held and feel safe. Whereas, when I was young, even when I was going through domestic violence, like, I didn't know those places existed. So I think the more we keep having these conversations, and like all those, the internet and technology, like I think especially in this last year, it's just helped us connect in so many ways that we would never have been able to do before. Had it not been for COVID, would 1,750 people have signed up to self-doubt to all out? I don't know. But I think a lot of us now have the ability to take our stories and touch people with them and share them and be brave and be vulnerable, knowing that that's giving somebody else permission to do the same. And this is why we have to keep having the conversation and sharing that we're working on ourselves and talking about what imposter syndrome is, because there's this ridiculous shame about it, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. So, Sarah, I was aware of imposter syndrome, but didn't really know a great deal about it. I'm much more aware of my inner dialogue now, which is one of the biggest symptoms of it than I was before. I have always felt inadequate at work as a mental health nurse. Many of my colleagues, however, doubt themselves on a daily basis. Absolutely. And I bet you're seeing yourself and the work that you do like in a completely different light now, Sarah. And this is the thing, for you to be healthy, happy humans, when you're going around constantly just worrying about how you look or do you sound right and am I saying the same thing and what are they thinking about me and all this crap, like all that energy, that beautiful energy could be created in just going like, how can I be a bigger version of me today? How can I be a better version of me today? How can I bring more of my superpowers to my family? How can I bring more of my natural skills and abilities into my work? How can I create space and hold space for other people to be better versions of themselves? Like, if you were going in and thinking about that every day, like, imagine if that all the women in the group did that, and that touches people. Like, the ripple effect of that is huge. It's huge. Can you imagine? Like, you can literally change the world. The power of one. The power of one thought, one right action, one kind act. Like, never underestimate, guys, the power that you doing this work has on everybody else around you. It doesn't just stop at you. Fran, confidence is a decision. It is an inside job. Amen, sister. It is, and so it is. And we talked about this at length, didn't we? Like, when you are constantly saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not confident enough, I'd love to go and have my own business, but I'm not confident enough, I'd love to go for that promotion, but I'm not confident enough, then you're not confident enough, and you're never going to be, because you keep telling yourself that you don't have the confidence. And we said, like, it's not something that is given to you. It is something you create. It is energy. It is attitude. It is decision. It is action. You get to choose and you get to create. So if you want to keep staying stuck and telling yourself you haven't got confidence, then you'll probably never have confidence. But don't sit and wait in apathy, hoping it will happen. You've got to take inspired action, guys. Very much so. As you said, acronyms and convoluted terms make imposter syndrome worse. And you know, one of the most empowering things I ever did was when as I was doing work on myself, after I kind of realized that it was painful to sit in meetings, because then you've been there for about a year and you still don't know what it means, and then you really do feel like a dickhead when you then have to ask. And after that, as I was doing work, I was like, I just made a commitment, like, to always be authentic, and if I didn't understand something, I was just going to damn well say it. So, and because a lot of the time in my career I was kind of moving into different jobs every 18 months, that was kind of what I did. It was lovely because I would go into jobs and into new teams or into new businesses and say, I'm new. I don't know this field very well. And you know what? I'm going to ask some what might seem really dumb questions to you, but I appreciate your patience while I learn. And I'll be honest, I'll probably ask them more than once. And it just felt so freeing. Like, I stopped walking in pretending like I knew everything. And guess what? I learned more and I learned faster because I give myself permission to ask the dumb questions and would therefore unearth a lot of processes, a lot of waste, a lot of unnecessary expenditure in functions because I would ask the questions that seem like the dumb questions, maybe. But I just took that label away. It's just questions and it's knowledge and it's insight, and that is power because once you have that. So, where in your life could you go and start asking questions? I mean, not even just with your job. It's like, why do you do things a certain way? Why do we always do this on that night? Like, what if we did something that on a different night? Why can we only do that? You've just got to get curious and lean into it and stop worrying about, what people think about you. Because as we said, it's really about what you're thinking about yourself. It's the most important thing. I have a new women's network I am recommending to them. Mwah! I love that. Damn right you do. And just make sure everybody watching this, if you're in self-doubt all out, because that group will close at the end of the month, that you join the Soul System, which has been there for 3 years. That's our other free group. So make sure that you're there. The pop-up groups that we do for different courses that we do, they don't stay open because you can imagine, like, it's that's interesting. I was recently told not to do this. What, like, as in not to ask questions and not to go in and challenge things? I don't know who it is. Sorry, just says Facebook user. The only stupid questions are the ones we don't ask 100%. And one of the biggest things, like, a lot of the women that we coach are women in corporate roles, senior corporate roles, and they often feel this pressure to know everything. So they'll often go into new roles, new functions, sometimes global functions that they're looking after, and the stress of like not knowing everything on day one. And I'm like, but you shouldn't know everything on day one. If you knew how they did everything, you wouldn't be effective at creating change in that area because you have to go in with the eyes of a child and start asking the obvious questions. Why do we do things that way? Is there a better way? Is there a better way? Like, why do we do it that way? Is there a better way? Like, they're two really powerful questions that you can ask in any area of your life that just open up a conversation. Because when people have been doing things a certain way for a certain length of time, it creates, like, you go native. Case in point, last Sunday when I had my makeup done by the fabulous artist Amanda, some of you saw me. I did a live in the Self-Doubt No All Out Facebook group just afterwards, and I was like, oh, mate, everyone's like, you look glam. I'm like, it was the walkthrough for the photo shoot, okay? But what happened was when she was, I love doing makeup. I have done other people's makeup for weddings if they've been friends and things. And I mean, obviously, don't look at me like I am now, but I do love doing makeup. So I then do my makeup a certain way every day. Like, I have a way that I do it. I've been doing it that way for like donkey's years. She then starts doing my makeup and I'm like, oh, she's doing my eyes before she does my foundation. I'm like, oh, I was like, oh, I normally do my foundation first. When, yeah, but when you do that, when you do your eyeshadow, you get it all over, then you have to wipe it off and do it again. And it's obviously not good for your skin, it's extra pulling. Always do your eyes first and then do the rest of your face. Blew me mind. Because every morning I have the same palaver. When I put a bit of eyeshadow on, it goes under here, then I have to wipe it off, and then I reapply my Trisha Clark and my foundation. It hasn't occurred to me not to do it that way. Right? So I was like, this is fascinating. Why the bloody hell didn't I think of this before? And this is what happens. And this is the beauty of growth and learning, and just having the mind of a child and stop feeling like you have to know all the answers, because you don't. You're closing yourself off to so many amazing experiences, things, and learning opportunities when you think that your way is best. And girls, we don't have many flaws, but thinking that our way is the way and the best way is definitely one of the things that, let's face it, we could iron out a few crinkles with. Challenging beliefs. Honestly, you've got to challenge your beliefs. I always say your beliefs are like this, like they're sitting in your blind spot, like they're there in plain light of day, because all of the life and what's being demonstrated around you is reflecting them literally in your blind spot, your parking blind spot. So it's about you getting really conscious and bringing them up in forefront by asking yourself, what do I believe when it comes to making money? What do I believe about being in a happy, committed relationship? What do I believe when it comes to me, my weight? Like, what are my belief systems? And just see what comes up for you. Interesting. I prefer to do this, but as I work with people who are apparently intimidated by my appointment, I am in a sector I haven't been in before. Yeah. Then do it. Like, you do you. Like, nobody tells me how to go in and do a job. that's why I ended up becoming a consultant, because it would irritate me when people felt like I had to conform. I will go in and ask what I think is the right thing to ask. And unless I'm being like rude to people or disrespectful to people, to me, then why would I not ask the to me the obvious questions? I always want to go in to a job and learn it. Like my job was to be curious and learn. Yeah. So it's like when you read, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the rules is seek first to understand. How can you understand if you don't ask the questions to get the understanding? Right? Because otherwise what you're doing is assuming that it's done that way because of filling in the blanks, and that might not be the reason. And that all that'll do is lead you to have the same answer to the same equation as they have, but miss out all the math. And often it's the working out of how you get to that point where the value lies, because that's where the opportunity lies. So seek first to understand, and you seek first to understand by asking questions. And this week it's about asking questions of ourselves, like, who am I? How do I see myself? Where do I get triggered? Where do I self-sabotage? Where am I judging other people, and where am I judging myself? We've been asking ourselves these questions this week, and that's where the flashlights, the bulbs, start pinging, because the stuff that's been sat in plain light today now comes right in front of your eyes. Then you can decide what you're going to do about it, right? So this week has been amazing. For anybody who hasn't partook or have not partaken or whatever, how would we say that? Anyone who's not partaken, see, it's okay not to know. It's okay not to know. There's still time. You can still get involved, because the replays will be up in the group until the close of the group. So anyone who's just on our normal email community, if you haven't registered, you won't get the replays. You have to register specifically to be in the group, and you can still go in and watch them live. And tonight we celebrate. It's 6 o'clock tonight. We'll all have a glass of something sparkling, and we're going to be doing awards. We're going to be talking about some of our aha moments. We're going to be sharing some prizes for the people, the Coaches Award, who we feel like has had the biggest leap in learning and development. We're going to be rewarding that person with a beautiful complimentary one-on-one discussion with us. We've got an online digital program, Bounce Back Ability Bootcamp, to give away to the person who has been the most interactive and supportive and contributed the most in our Facebook group. And then we're also doing a prize, a £100 prize, for the person who's referred the most people into the program using their unique link. So it's going to be a lovely night. It's going to be absolutely, hey Brooke, amazing to celebrate. I hope you all join us. It's not done yet. And then as an extra bonus thank you, Cheryl and I are going to be dropping in live on Saturday and Sunday into the Self-Doubt All Out Facebook group with a few more self-confidence truth bombs and some more learning about how to go next level and add another layer onto your confidence. So the learning isn't open yet. It's still very much worthwhile. People join in the group, watch the replays, which contain thousands of pounds worth of training. So that's all I'm going to say on that one. And we've also opened the doors, to be able to join us and work with us for 6 months in our coaching programs. See, I've normally got me and Cheryl to do this. Yeah, so what we did is last night we opened it up to the masterclass attendees, which was amazing. And I woke up this morning just to all these emails from people wanting calls, which is incredible. And the calls are limited. We can't speak to everybody. There's obviously nearly 2,000 people signed up now and over 1,000 people in the group. So what you put on that form is really important. But this is about, you've gained momentum and you've learned so much. And if you want to keep going and keep driving that momentum of really exploring what you could be like in 6 months, can you imagine after you felt like this after a week? People have had huge epiphanies. We've had people leave relationships, people, decide to go for the promotion, people applying for new jobs, people just finding just that inner calmness that some people are saying they don't ever remember feeling before, and feeling good about themselves, having different conversations, asking people for money back that's owed to them. There's so many successes in that group. I could be here all day just telling you about them. And that's been in 4 hours worth of coaching. imagine what it's like when you work with us for 6 months, 12 months, whatever. So for people who are ready to invest their time, their energy, and financially into being part of a structured formal coaching program with us, we are open to speak to you now. All you do is fill that discovery document in, answer the questions, and then we take it from there with you. We've only got a week to get these calls in, so don't hang about. The opportunity to request your call closes at 9 o'clock on Monday night. So at 9 o'clock on Monday night, the opportunity to get a call with us is taken off the table. You and Cheryl are wonderful. Right back at you, Hannah. Thank you for helping our ladies build the confidence. Oh, one soul at a time. Honestly, it's literally the biggest pleasure. Like, I love what I do. I love what I do. And I've talked for too long. I thought I would run out of things to say without Cheryl. Apparently not, but it has been amazing to spend a little bit of Friday lunchtime with you. I'm off now. I've got lots of calls in from people who were hot off the press last night booking in their calls with us. I'm very excited to go and speak to them now, so I'm off to do that. Have an amazing day. I will see you at 6 o'clock tonight. If you're in self-doubt, to all out for some celebrations, some awards, and to give away some money. So we'll see you there, guys. Have an epic Friday. Love you. Bye.